Well, you're not going to guess what happened is we had some hail damage. I mean, look at the size of this. These were photos that our neighbors sent us. Some of this stuff was almost as big as a baseball. And man, it pulverized our Airstream. So I want to talk about how would an insurance company determine if your Airstream has been totaled by hail, and what are the different kind of policies, and how do you get it replaced without spending money out of your pocket? Well, we made some mistakes, and I want to share those with you today. Let's get going. So let me kind of give you a rundown of what we did. We took it to Airstream Nuts and Bolts. We purchased a new camper. We parked them side by side, and then we started transferring what we could. Now, you cannot take out skylights and just leave a hole in the top of your camper. It has to be in new condition as it was when you purchased it. So you can take some upgrades off, but you can't take them all off. So after we transferred, we brought her home. Well, we have Gracie home. We've got her all sitting here, all dented up. She's going to the auction company. We've stripped her down on the inside. All the decorations are gone. We've taken down everything. She's like a brand new, this is a 2021 Globetrotter. But yeah, we left the puck lights in. We've got the new skylights. It still has 4 lithium batteries. We did pull the generator, but a lot of the upgrades we left on here. It's kind of sad, huh? We put the old tires. Actually, these are brand new off the new one, but we put our tires because they're upgraded tires. We left the bike rack on. It's got a few dents. It's got a whole bunch on top, but there's a few dents on it, like you can see where the hail, it hit it on the side. But man, she got banged up on top. Well, that time has arrived where we are taking Gracie to the auction people. Wendy, how you feeling about this?
Kind of sad.
It is kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
The people at the Airstream store is like, congratulations on your new purchase, but it just wasn't the same.
Oh man, that sucks. There you go. That way they can see it.
Good luck getting that thing off. Well, we wanted to make sure that we had some video proof that we left her. Look how sad that is. She's sitting there amongst all that mess. Wow, unbelievable. Okay, let's talk about insurance. Wendy, why did we just not keep the damaged Airstream with all the upgrades and just take a check from the insurance company?
It all came down to the money.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're paying for a full replacement policy, so you're paying a higher premium for a full replacement policy. They did offer us a dollar value and where we kept the camper. But when we did the money value of keeping the current damaged camper, it had depreciation now, 40% depreciation because of the hail damage, and the dollar figure that they offered, when we compared that to a full replacement of a new 2025, even with the upgrades and some of the mistakes that we made, we came out better with a new camper. So we made them buy us a new camper.
So let me add to that. Also, if we had kept the camper, we would have had a salvage title, and the insurance would be limited coverage. You could not have full coverage again on the camper. So once we kind of factored that in, we go, let's just get a new camper. Okay, so let's talk about insurance for a minute. I'm not going to go over liability, collision, or comprehensive. Most of you guys already know what that means. What I want to focus on is the total replacement. Now, total replacement applies only to a newer camper. So typically, if it's under 5 years, you need to read your policy. It will only replace the camper on a total replacement provision. So it's very important to know that's only with a newer camper. Now, why would our camper with the damage that you saw be considered totaled? Well, there's two ways to repair a camper. One, or an Airstream. One is to put buck rivets in it. Well, if you do that, you have to pull all of the interior out. And then the panels themselves, some panels can be up to $50,000. But if you pull the interior out, then replace the panel and have to put their interior back in, which it'll never go in the way it went out, they consider it very quickly a total replacement. Okay, so you're probably wondering why we didn't fix our total. So here's why. One, you have to, now they're redoing the floor in this little Bambi, so they're pulling everything out, doing it right, and they're gonna put in a whole new floor for that. But instead of doing that, you can work on a Airstream from the outside. All of these on the outside are buck rivets. So you know what they look like if you own an Airstream, but the issue is, how do you replace an outside skin without tearing out the interior? So here's how. Theron is going to show us with Vinny's. Thank you very much. So it's called an Olympic rivet, right?
Right.
So tell us how it works.
So it's the same as any rivet. Put it in. The only difference is on these ones. Oh, hold on, I need to be prepped here. These ones will actually open up.
So, but first you have to remove all the buck rivets.
Drill out all your buck rivets.
Wow.
Remove the panel.
Heavy labor, time consuming.
Very time consuming. These work just like any other rivet.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have. I'd like to put it in something.
Yeah, we're going to try to show you an example or sample. We did one in the metal. So this is an Olympic rivet. It goes in with the peg on top. Everything looks just like a regular buck rivet except that peg. So let's deal with the peg.
Clip that peg off.
So we're going to clip it off. So for you guys that have got body damage, like, I don't know, can we do it? And the answer is yes, you can. So now he's going to grind that down, which looks a little scary. Boy, this is labor intensive. Wow, that does a great job. What a special, unique tool. Wow, so I'm gonna give you, there you go. And then that obviously is cleaned up a little bit around the edges.
That's
and
crazy.
So it is possible and it looks great. Also, last step, they polish it, clean it up, and then that gives it that finished look just like a buck rivet. I can't really tell it's not a buck rivet. That's crazy. And one more thing on the Olympic rivet. Notice on the back how it's spread out. You have a lot of material holding that in, but believe it or not, the buck rivet is a more secure rivet than the Olympic rivet, even though this looks like a lot of material on the back. But it's a very solid way to fix your camper without tearing out the interior of your camper. Okay, so that's the rivets. Now let's talk about stated value and how that works with your insurance. The stated value is interesting because the stated value, you declare a value on your camper, and it typically is the lesser of that value or the actual market value. So stated value can work for you if you know you have a lot of money into your camper with upgrades. You could state, you have to prove it by the way with invoices, but you could state the value of that camper and then they just write you a check for that stated value. They are going to take in consideration the market value when you decide to go stated value. An agreed value, you and the insurance company agree on a fixed payout amount, very similar to stated value, but there's no depreciation and there's no market adjustments. Stated value has those or could have those. An agreed value does not. They just write you a check for an agreed value that you have on your insurance carrier, or your insurance coverage. So where did we go wrong? As I said earlier, we did not insure the upgrades, and what we should have done was just call the insurance company and said, hey, we've added these things, here's the invoices, here's how much it cost, and then the annual premium, probably, because we checked it, $10, $15 more a year for added upgrade insured costs. So it's a very wise way to go. Okay, so as a recap, the actual cash value, it pays the depreciated market value. The stated value is the lesser of the stated or the market value. The agreed value pays for a pre-agreed amount, and the total replacement is a full replacement with a new or similar RV, but that comes with some caveats. That's what I want to talk about for a second. The total replacement, because that's what we had. Okay, so since we had a total replacement policy, let me talk about that. I think you understand the difference between all three, the stated, the actual, etc. So here's the example. If you bought a camper for $130,000, what we did not know is that the insurance company set a purchase price lower than we actually paid. In this example, I'm going to say $120,000. But with our insurance carrier, they did a market adjustment of adding 20% inflation. So an example, you would multiply 120,000 by 1.20 and you'd come up with 144,000. But we also added upgrades. So you can see you really need to add those upgrades to your policy. The takeaway lessons are negotiate the face value or the purchase price. What are they going to use? Make sure you're insuring your upgrades and know what the market adjustments are. For our company, they added 20% for inflation, which actually is pretty fair. And then most importantly, ask to see the formula that they are using to calculate total replacement. You want to see that calculation up front just to make sure that all the money you have spent is insured. Okay, one more lesson. You control the timeline, not the insurance company. Now, let me tell you how you control it. Typically, insurance companies on a total loss policy, they will hire a third party to shop the market. The way we control the timeline is we shop the market ourselves. So when we did that, the third party company, we basically did their job. So when it was time to make a decision and write a check, the insurance company said, well, I guess you've done everything that the third party company is going to do, so we'll just go ahead and process this claim now. So that totally circumvented a 1 to 3 month timeline, and we got it done in a week, believe it or not. Also, you have to ask yourself, what is a good deal when you're buying a new camper? We got 30% off of retail, so 30% off of MSRP, and even the third party said that was a good deal. So because it was a good deal, they went ahead and went along with what we negotiated and closed the claim, and we got our check quickly. By the way, the third party company has to write the check to the Airstream dealer. They are not going to give you a check unless you have a stated or agreed amount policy. One last tip. If you add your upgrades after you've written the policy and you add some more coverage, a lot of people think that's super expensive. The kind of numbers we ran into were $10, $20, $30 a year in adding all of that additional coverage for upgrades, etc. So don't be afraid to do that, or at least get a price quote and see if it's something you want. Okay, so we've thrown this video together while we were on the road, but I wanted to get this information to you quickly. I hope it's been helpful. We have a new video coming out of our new camper. We're going to show you all of the new features on the new Airstreams, and we had a 2021 totaled, and we're going to show you the new stuff on a 2025.5. They're the same features that are going to be on the 2026s. So stay tuned for that, and hope all this has been helpful to you. Happy trails, everybody.